To the basket, going to take the open jumpers, and she would find those when she could. And she did the best she could as far as rebounding the basketball for us. She's a great rebounding guard. But to have her so aggressive offensively was a huge positive for us. It takes a lot of the load off of Lulu as well, and Lulu had an awesome game as well herself.
And you look at it, this really became a game where both teams' guards were basically trying to use their athleticism and their quickness to get by each other and get to the rim. And basically that's what it was tonight.
Well, that's what it boiled down to. It boiled down to us not being able to stop the dribble drive. Every single time they got the ball deep into the painted area, and it caused us a lot of problems. Either they scored, got fouled, went to the free throw line. They did a great job from the free throw line of knocking them down. And then they would even find open shooters, and they start knocking down shots down the stretch. We must do all the little things that are so very important, and the most important thing defensively is to keep the ball in front. And if we can do that, we're a much better basketball team. But as long as it's going downhill and finding shooters and finishing at the rim and getting to the free throw line, knocking down shots, it makes it difficult for us.
UTSA was the #1 defensive team in the WAC coming in, holding opponents to 54 points a game, holding people to 35% shooting. You score 79 points. You shoot 56% from the floor. I mean, what was the difference from tonight over Ruston?
Well, I think you had a game from Keela Shelton that was just amazing. The floor was wide open for her, and she just created shots for herself. And it just created a game flow for her, and it made it good for us. But our offensive execution was pretty good as far as setting screens and getting Lulu to come off those staggered screens and knocking down shots. She was coming up as a shooter, not as a catcher, and that made a difference with some of the things that we did. But Malcolm, what I would like to see more of is us getting points from our post people. We have to have post dominance, and if we don't get that, it's going to be a struggle all year long. There were times when they were open and the guards weren't getting it to them. Times they get it, then they're not strong enough to finish. So frustration starts to set in after a while with our post people, and then other things don't occur in the game as far as rebounding and defending. But you got to play throughout the entire game for 40 minutes. But we must have scoring from our bigs.
Well, and you look at it, if I'd have told you before the game that Whitney Frazier was going to score 0 points and have 1 rebound, and Janae Borum was not going to score and have 7 turnovers, you probably wouldn't feel real good about your chances. So I think that just goes to show their teammates picked them up tonight.
Well, absolutely. It's hard when you don't have your playmaker out there to conduct things and keep your people in their rightful positions, because we had to take Keela and Lulu and put them at the point some of the times. But Nidra came in and did a great job as well out there of being out there on the floor and making the correct pass to the right people and defending. You know, we can actually depend on her to defend, but when they're not on the floor, it makes it very, very difficult for us, especially with Janae. And when Frazier's not scoring, not rebounding and defending, you know, we depend so much on her and what she brings. As small as she is, she has a heart of a lion, and we need her on the floor for 40 minutes if we can.
Back to Shelton, when you see a kid that's basically got the feel for the game like she did tonight, and she had it early on, as a coach, do you start to say, okay, you know what, and we did it a few times, let's put the ball in her hands out front, let's go 1-4 flat and just let her go to work, because right now she's feeling it.
Yeah, I didn't want to stay with that, but I knew it at that moment I wanted to kind of utilize it just a little bit and then go to certain plays that will also get her open in the open floor and allow her to create. But when she's in the open floor like that, she's feeling good about herself. And sometimes, you know, players take those shots to test their heat, and it kind of make you a little nervous as a coach, but you saw that she was in a great flow.
Well, your basketball team also hit 20 of 24 free throws for tonight for 83%. Perry came up big down the stretch at the free throw line, kept UTSA at bay. Really probably the two negatives in this game, the 24 turnovers, which we touched on a little bit, and the inability to keep UTSA off the offensive glass at times.
That's tough. That's really tough. You know, I tell our kids this all the time. It's more to the word rebounding than just rebound. We always say box out, then rebound. There's a process that you must go through. When that ball goes up, we become ball watchers. You must put a body on somebody and start to push out. You got to grind. And we didn't do that very well with 55 getting on the boards, getting all the offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. It makes it difficult for you. So we must get better at boxing out. It's a process, and we'll work at it until we get it.
Well, a good win tonight. You're going to move on to San Marcos now. They lost at home tonight on a last-second shot against Texas Arlington. So that's going to be a Texas State team that's going to be hungry. And it's a Texas State team we talked about. Diamond Ford can score, and when you have a player like that, they're always dangerous.
Absolutely. And then when you talk about losing the game, the last-second shot, it really fuels their fire. You know, you become hungrier, and the pain that you feel after a game, you don't ever want to feel it again. So you want to get back on the floor to redeem yourselves, and we have to take that into account about stepping into their home court and on their floor. So we have to come in with a better mentality from all 13 players. It has to be all 13 for us to be moving forward the way that we want to and become a better basketball team. We cannot rely on 1 and 2 people. It has to be all 13.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you so much.